Hello everyone, it's SpawnPoiint and today we are taking a look at some of the cheapest PS5 accessories that are actually worth buying. So if you're upgrading your setup on a budget or you just want something new for your PS5, hopefully this video will help you out. As always, everything is linked down below if you want to take a look, and if you're into gaming content, drop a like as it really helps me out. Okay, and first up, we've got to talk about the PS5 Pro, because the chances are, unless you picked up the 30th anniversary edition or the Ghost of Yotei covers, you're still rocking the original white covers, because even after a whole year, we still don't have any new official plates. Well, fortunately, I bought these cheap replicas on Amazon for about £25, which comes with the 4 covers and the disk drive cover that I need. Now, they are of course missing the PlayStation logo and the little icons on the inside, but honestly, these look pretty good so far. So all we need to do is pull and remove the original white covers first, pop the new black ones on, and we've now got this full-on all-black PS5 Pro. And you know what? This actually looks proper stealthy now in the setup. Now, I know we've been able to do this for about the last 5 years with the original PS5, but I feel like we've waited long enough for the Pro. I still cannot believe that Sony have not made these themselves. But actually, just a thought, maybe the PS6 is going to be all black, and that's why they're holding off making them for the PS5 Pro. Anyway, you can get other colours as well, like red and silver, with and without the fans on the side, and although I do like the PlayStation logo on the side, if you go all black you don't really see it anyway. But let me know what you think. Do you think the PS5 Pro looks even better in all black? Right, and here's one for the Steelbook collectors, because if you're like me and you like to collect and display your cases in your setup, this is without doubt one of the cheapest and easiest ways to do it. And that's using these magnets to stick them to your wall. So I've shown you similar magnets before, which are called Maglevate, and these are awesome and definitely ones that I would recommend, but they are about £10 per magnet. Whereas these are just £12 for a pack of 12. That is insane. Now they come with 6 little magnets inside this strip, and then around the back it has a adhesive strip that you can peel off before using to stick it to your wall. Now I've already used the Maglevate on my desk setup, so I've decided to put the new ones in my living room to see how they look with the new cases. Now the only thing to note is that these are metal, so if you're concerned about them scratching your Steelbooks every time you remove and put them back on your wall, either wrap them in some fabric around the magnets themselves first, or just a thin piece of material or even a piece of paper. Now you can get these with different strengths. I went for the strongest ones called the N52, which can apparently hold up to 750 grams. So absolutely no worries with the cases, even if they've got a disc and a manual inside. Just to be safe though, I did actually use 2 magnets per case, just so I know they definitely won't fall off the wall. And as you can see, they are so thin and flush to the wall that they actually look like the Steelbooks are just floating in the setup. So yeah, I think these are a nice cheap accessory to add to your setup, especially if you do like to collect Steelbooks. Okay, and this next one actually solves a real problem with the DualSense, because this is a little power bank for your controller. Like, how many times have you been gaming and see that low battery pop up, which you'll no doubt ignore before it finally switches off? Or you have to try and find a cable and then have it trailing across your desk or your living room floor. And if you're lucky enough, you might have a spare controller that you can just swap it out with. Well, this simply plugs into the top of your controller like this, and it instantly gives you another 12 hours of game time without needing to plug it in. So to actually give you an idea, the normal DualSense controller has a 15 mAh battery inside, whereas this little thing has a 3000 mAh battery. So it's literally double the size of the internal one on the controller. And that means it's going to be great for gaming away from home when you cannot charge it, or you just don't want to see cables in your setup while you're gaming. And the great thing is it's a nice and simple plug and play, as there are no buttons or setup required. You just simply plug it into the top and it will work straight away. Also, across the top it's got these little LED icons, so you can see how much battery it has remaining. And when you do need to charge it up, there's a USB-C port on the top as well. Now I went for the white version, but they do also do a black one instead if you prefer, depending on the controller that you're using it with. But yeah, a nice little accessory that is definitely a useful one to have. And next up, something I get a lot of comments about are these wooden controller stands from Geek Made Designs. They look nice, but they are not cheap. And because of that, I actually tried to find something that was just as nice looking, but that didn't break the bank. And well, I found this. So this is a solid wood and metal framed controller stand that you can use for 2 controllers like this. You can also use it to store your headset on the top like this. And there's even a little tray underneath for keeping other accessories in. So you could have your AirPods or your flip before bed coin, or maybe some spare sets of paddles for your controller. And I like this because it looks super clean but adds a little bit of a premium look to the setup without being super expensive. Also, the controller stand is big enough that if you want to, you could store your Switch or other handheld on here if you wanted to. Now, I really like this, and it is definitely something that I would use in my setup if I wasn't using the smaller stands already. It even comes with a pack of thumb grips and foam rings for your controller, although I would probably use Control Freak over these. It's cool to at least try them out to see how you get on with them. Okay, now I am a huge fan of the PlayStation Portal, especially since we got the cloud gaming update last year, where you can use it to stream your games without the need for a PS5. And if you've got one as well, you're going to want one of these. So this is an official charging dock made by PowerA, and it is super clean, plus it is far better than any other dock that I've used and tested so far. So firstly, as it's officially licensed, it does come with all of the PlayStation branding and logos on, so it doesn't feel and look like a cheap knockoff. And as they have made it USB-C powered, it means you can either plug it into a USB plug that you've got, or directly into the PS5, which makes it so much easier to use. Now, if you've got any other dock out there, you'll know that trying to line up the Portal to charge it can be a real pain, as the USB-C port on the back of the Portal is positioned like this. Well, with this one, it comes with a little USB-C head that you can simply plug into the Portal first, and then each time you sit it in the dock, it will line up and charge it straight away. And then when it is powered on, you get this RGB strip across the bottom to light up your desk or on your shelves, which is really cool. Fortunately though, if you're not into RGB, well, you can switch this off by tapping the back of the dock, and this will then cycle through the 4 different color modes or turn it off completely. Otherwise, this is a nice cheap accessory to have sitting in your setup if you've got a PlayStation Portal. And next up is this backpack, but this isn't just a regular backpack because this is for the gamer who wants to leave the house, maybe go on holiday or around a mate's house, and you need to take the PS5 with you, because inside this bag it's got custom made compartments for everything you need for the PS5. Firstly, it's big enough to either fit the original PS5, PS5 Slim or PS5 Pro, and it slots into the middle pocket like this. There's even some straps here to secure it into place so it won't move around when you're walking. Then there's a pouch in the front here to store up to 2 DualSense controllers or your headset, and another pocket here for your cables like HDMI, power and USB. Then if we flip this closed and zip it up, we've got another couple of pockets for things like your Portal across the top, although it's pretty tight in here, and your physical games can go in the front pocket like this. There's even a pocket on the side for your bottle or your drink, and there's actually a laptop compartment at the back as well if you want to use it for work or school. Now, what I like the most about this is it doesn't scream "I'm carrying a PS5" because it just looks like a normal backpack. There's no gaming slogans or PS5 branding on it, it's just a nice clean bag and looks stealthy that you could literally take anywhere. Okay, and if you want to either free up some space in your setup, hide your PS5, or just want a really neat way to show it off, you're going to want one of these. So this is a metal bracket from a company called Hide It Mounts. And if you followed me for a while, you've probably seen my PS4 Pro over here on the wall, but they also make them for the PS5, PS5 Slim, and even the PS5 Pro. So all you need to do is attach the bracket to your wall using the 4 holes and screws, then grab your PS5 and simply slide it onto the bracket like this. Now just make sure you use the provided bolt so you can secure it into place. It goes into the same hole that the vertical stand normally would do. And voila, we now have what looks like a floating PS5 stuck to the wall in the setup. But you could use this of course to hide your PS5 behind your TV or your monitor, so the cables could come straight out of the PS5 and then straight into your TV. I actually did this about 6 years ago in my old house with my PS4 Pro, and I'll tell you what, it looks incredibly neat in that setup. Now they also make these brackets for pretty much everything you can think of, like skateboards or speakers. I'm even tempted to grab another one so I can mount my 20th anniversary PS4 under the 30th anniversary PS5. I think it'll look pretty cool on the setup, but what do you think? And this next one is perfect if you've only got one controller in your setup. Because when you need to charge your controller, you'll probably want to use a charging dock like this, right? But if you've only got one controller, you don't really need the second slot or this big bulky dock sitting on your desk. Well, I just found out that PowerA, the people who make these, now make a single charging dock that looks like this. And as soon as I saw it, I knew that at least some of you guys would probably want to grab one. I love how small this thing is, and it still has the PlayStation logo on the front, and it's slightly cheaper than the dual dock. So all you need to do is drop your controller onto the top and it will start charging it right away, and it looks so clean. Plus, as it's USB powered, you can either plug it into a spare USB plug that you've got, or straight into the PS5. Honestly, this is perfect for those who only have one controller or want to take up less space on your desk. Now back in November, I did show you guys this cushion during a Black Friday video and a few of you guys loved it. So I think it needs to make an appearance in today's accessory video, because this isn't just a PlayStation cushion that you can use to have on your chair or in your setup, although it's usually sitting somewhere at my desk. This is a cushion that when you unravel it, it turns into a huge PlayStation blanket for those late night or rainy day gaming sessions. Now I know you guys might think I'm joking here, but when you're chilling at the setup or wanting that cozy weekend gaming vibe, you cannot beat throwing one of these down before you grab your controller. It's super soft, big, and has this little pocket that you can either use for sticking your snacks or your controller in, and it's a little nicer than any normal throw or blanket that you can get. And then when you are finished with it, instead of just rolling it up or dropping it on the floor, you can fold it back up into the cushion and either stick it on the back of your chair or somewhere else in your room. Again, it's cheap and it's a nice little piece of merch for the setup. And you cannot have a gaming setup, especially a PlayStation Focus setup, without some over-the-top PS merch, right? Well, I've never seen one of these before and they look awesome. So this is an official PlayStation licensed lamp that comes with a ceramic base, so it feels pretty heavy and solid, and a huge glass PlayStation bulb that screws into it. And what's cool is even when it's powered off, it still looks like a pretty cool accessory, as it's got the PlayStation icons inside the bulb and a logo on the top. Now apparently you can actually buy these bulbs separately too, so if you've got a lamp already, you could just buy this and add this to that. But then when you do turn it on, boom, this thing lights up the setup with this nice PlayStation blue glow. And you can see here how the PlayStation icons inside are lit up with a nice blue finish. Now it's not super bright, but it's bright enough to give the setup a cool vibe at night. And as its mains powered, you are going to need a spare plug socket somewhere near your desk or shelves. But yeah, it's one of those things, it's definitely for a real PlayStation gamer. Well, there we have it. Those are my cheap PlayStation 5 accessories that are definitely worth buying in 2026. What do you think? Hopefully there were some ideas for your own gaming setup, or maybe some gift ideas for somebody else. But let me know what your favourites were. For me, I'm going to go for the floating PS5 bracket and the magnets for the Steelbooks. I think these are such a simple but clean idea for the setup. Now drop a cheap PS5 in the comments and I'll give you a thumbs up for staying right till the end. And if you did enjoy today's video, check out this video next. Well, thanks for watching, please like, subscribe and follow me everywhere. Until next time.